Welcome again to another CheapWineFinder.com podcast. This is Domain Dave. And we are starting the holiday season off a little bit early. So we got a bubbly, and a really good one, a delicious one at that, and a one no one's expecting. At least I certainly wasn't. And what do we have? Let me grab the bottle and read the name. It's Italian, so if I get half the words wrong, well, it's written down, at least hopefully correctly, on the CheapWineFinder.com website. This is the Valdo number 10, Valdo Beni. That's the Valdo Beni. Is the section inside the Prosecco region. That's where it's rated DOCG. It's where the best grapes are supposed to be, and I believe them. Metodo Classico 2019. So first of all, this is a top-notch. This is from a winery that was started in 1926. It's the oldest winery in the Valdo Beni region. I got to quit pronouncing that name because I could be completely wrong. And the Bolla family. The Bolla family, you've seen their wines. And it's a vintage Prosecco. Most of the time you see a Prosecco, and most of the ones you have are non-vintage. Sparkling wine tends to do that. Nope, this is the 2019. And the Metodo Classico, well, that's the traditional method, which the Italians are calling the champagne method. It's made like a champagne. And that's like, whoa, there's not that many Proseccos out there that are not made in the Charmat method. And I'll explain the Charmat method. You know, they take the Glera grape, all Prosecco's made with the Glera grape. And except for the rosés, they do something weird there, but that's another story for another time. And they ferment it like you would anything, other wine. They do it to their winery production style, so it tastes a certain way. And then they age it for a while, and then they transfer the first fermentation into these huge pressurized vats. And they add a measured amount of sugar and yeast, close it up, crank the pressure to a certain specified pressure. And it's usually nowhere near the pressure of champagne. I think the atmospheres in champagne could be up to 7 atmospheres, and Prosecco is more like 3 in that area. I'm not an atmospheres specialist, but it's usually like half. That's the pressure in the bottle, which is why in champagne you see people like using a saber to knock the top off. It's not the saber, it's the pressure. That's Charmat method. And after, for inexpensive Prosecco, maybe 3 or 4 weeks, it's enough. And for an expensive Prosecco, maybe a couple of months. This is made like champagne and cava. What they do is they do the first fermentation in their house style. Then they bottle it. And in each and every bottle, they put a little bit measured amount of yeast and sugar, put a temporary top on it, and every so often, fairly often actually, you turn it a quarter turn, because as the dead yeast falls and you got it tilted towards the top, it all falls by the top of the bottle, and if it don't turn it, it could stick, and then you're never going to get it out, and you just wasted a bottle of bubbly. And in champagne, it's a 1.5 years minimum. Cava is like 9 months, and this one is 10 months, or at least 10 months. There's going to be some little more, a little less. It depends on what they want, but 10 is what they figure is right for Prosecco. And the grapes are different. Champagne uses Chardonnay, Pinot Meunier, Pinot Noir, and this is Glera grapes. So different strokes for different folks. Each grape's going to need something different. So they after they take the yeast out and put the regular bottle on, they got 6 more months of time, and then you got your bottle of bubbly. I'm gonna take a sip because it's delicious. It had more bubbles than I ever saw out of Prosecco. Not that I ever complained about the bubbles in Prosecco, but this was just zoom, all those bubbles, which are half the fun of bubbly because you got bubbles. And it tastes great. This is a extra dry. Extra dry means it's slightly sweet. It's backwards in bubbly. Don't know why, but you can't fight City Hall. but slightly sweet when you have good acidity kind of balances out. So you kind of get a roundness to the flavors. Whereas super dry, well, actually I love super dry champagne, but with Prosecco, a little bit of sweetness actually adds to the glare grape. It gives it a little more fruit, a little more roundness on the palate. And this is when I first tasted it, it just engaged my palate. It was like, boom, it's like I could feel every part of my mouth in this, which doesn't always happen with Prosecco. I mean, I always like Prosecco. Prosecco's great. You know, I never ever turn down a bottle or a glass or whatever they want to give me. And actually, this was a sample. I got this on a sample. This is something I didn't even know existed until someone said, hey, you want to try it? I said, sure thing. And it's got great taste. It just tastes, the more I sip it, the better I like it. I think it kind of lists for $30, and I don't know what that'll mean in the stores. And I can't find any shops online that have been selling it, so I can figure out a good price. And the price in Europe are all over the place. And I think this is a wine that's going to be new to the market for the 2022 holidays, which is why they gave me a bottle so I can get the word out. Acidity's perfect. Acidity's in the pocket. Makes you want to take another sip. The flavors are rounded, subtle but delicious. This is a really good one. This is a legitimate champagne alternative, and it's priced as one $30. You can get for around $30. You're starting to get the entry level champagnes, if entry level's the right word for that. And I can see where this can take those on. That this has that rounded fruit, that balanced acidity, tons of bubbles. It's just a good package. The colors, little silver, little gold. Yeah, this is a wine that I liked and was not expected. What's the name of it again? So I can, because I told everybody at first, it's the Valdo Numero 10 DOCG. That's the top ranking in Italy for wine. Prosecco Metodo Classico 2019 from the Valdo Beni region, the top region for a winery that's around for 95 years. What's there not to like? And if you ask me, there's nothing not to like. I love this wine. It's a little bit on my other cheap wine finder price range, but in the holidays, I think another bottle will be purchased. So keep it cheap. Like us, we like your podcast, if you will. We always appreciate it. I've got a Halloween wine coming up in a couple of days, and thank you for listening. Stay safe, stay healthy and warm, and I'll be talking to you. Adios. Bye-bye.